All right, people. So today is another episode, but we're not going to talk about advice to junior developers. What we're going to be focusing on is career changes. And if you want to move into the tech industry and you're working in whatever industry it might be, as an accountant in finance, as a recruiter, whatever it may be, should you switch jobs? Is it worth it? What's the reality, right? Once you get into tech, right? What is it actually like? So I can speak firsthand at this. So I'm in my 30s now, but I actually switched careers when I was 28. So a lot of people think that's quite late in your career to be able to make that switch. But honestly, it kind of was and wasn't my choice at the same time. And there's another video that kind of talks about, how I made that switch. But should you make that switch? And I think that you need to really drill down into what you actually want in a career. Do you enjoy coding, or do you enjoy like being a business analyst, or what? First work out what exactly you want to do, right? Because tech is such a broad industry. You don't just have to become a developer. You can go into, even as a developer, you can go into other low code tools. There's a lot of different tools. You can just become a cloud expert if you really wanted to, right? And a lot of those things don't necessarily require you to be like a good developer, a good coder, let's say, or require you to write any code. So there's loads of considerations that you need to take into effect. And also, if you want to look at potentially becoming like a business analyst or a project manager or a product manager, there's so many different jobs. So once you work out, particular role that you think you'd be good at and you think you'd enjoy, then you want to do a little bit of research as to like what those roles entail. So it might, if it's a BA, what does a BA do, or a PM or a product manager? Delve into what kind of skills they require. I almost guarantee you can find out free information on YouTube because someone will have posted about that role. And if you can't find that, your second best bet is to go onto Udemy, because there will be guaranteed. There's about a course on everything, right? So just pick that up and just see. But see if you can watch like a day in the life of like someone who's working as that job. Just kind of gauge like what you need to be good at that role, and they will be working on that position themselves. So just see what kind of key attributes they have. But I think that tech is not necessary for everyone. It's not something that people would potentially enjoy. And like I've kind of covered in a few videos with for my advice to junior developers, tech can get really, really toxic. There's a lot of requirements. Sure, the money's great, all right? And so if money is your only motivation, then just choose whatever that you'd find tolerable to work and just get into it, all right? I'm not going to say that you shouldn't do it just for the money, because at the end of the day, we work for the money, right? I think we don't work for fun, generally speaking, right? So, but you should just try and find a role that at least makes you sound worthwhile, so you're just not miserable all the time, right? Because you might be in a role right now that you're miserable in and maybe doesn't pay what you want it to pay, and you think that maybe getting into tech might be the option for you, and it will, right? You will, but you might not make the money that you want to make day one, but eventually, maybe quicker, you might be able to rise up the ladder and then make the money that you want to make. So yeah, take that under consideration. And then once you've done that, and maybe you've learned some of the skills that you need, or maybe you already possess those skills, go onto LinkedIn, search up that role and see the people that are currently working in that position. I just gauge their skill set. What kind of companies are they working for? What kind of descriptions they've written, because you'll gauge a lot about like what the requirements are for that particular position, and then get applying. Sometimes you might need to network and meet people, and there'll be loads of tech meetups that you can go on to. I think there's a few websites that you can go on to do meetups and stuff like that. So try and attend those, speak to people, ask them to explain to you the role, what kind of opportunities are available, whether that would be a good skill set, and maybe they could refer you into those companies as well. And, meetups are absolutely amazing because you will learn a lot of information, and it's only like an hour or two of your time. Anyway, you're going to spend that watching TV, or playing some games on your console or on PC, or whatever, right? We waste time all day every day, right? Minimum, but it will be a couple of hours. So use that time and go and meet people and go and network, and then you can make that change. And a little bit of advice to people that want to maybe become like a self-taught or developer, for example. Anything's possible. That's how I started, right? So if you want to start today, just use anything that you can possibly pay for is available for free. And free code camp is probably one of the best ways that you can get started on learning. This is not an ad because it's free, right? But go and use that platform. And once you get in a position, definitely contribute to their cause, because I think that it's amazing. And I've learned a lot using free code camp as well. And I still use them to this day if I want to learn something new or something different, right? So yeah, definitely give that a go, and don't be disheartened if you don't get, or you get loads of rejections, because it does happen. And obviously, the market changes from time to time, and it's been really, really difficult for a lot of people across the world. There's been like a massive downturn in the economies, but things pick up, and you will get that job eventually. You just have to be persistent, and you'll be grateful that you kept trying to get that job later on. You'll be glad. So my advice to anyone that does want to get into tech, and you're really passionate about it, and you think that it'll be a really good fit for you, then just do it. And sooner or later, you'll find out whether it works or not. And you can always go back to that other job if you really wanted to. But, there's no restriction on like when you can be allowed to like switch careers, if that makes sense. I did it later on in life. And so, I always encourage people that, if you feel that you just want to make that change, then just make that change, right? You know, I don't mean that you should leave your current job and then just start looking. Keep searching for that new career in tech while you're working in your current job. And once you get that offer, you can evaluate that, and then based on whatever your circumstances are, you can make that change. But if you need any advice, just post in the comments, and if I can help, I will. But if I can't, I'm sure there's always another person who'll be available to give you that advice that you need. YouTube's a great place, and I think that you can learn a lot from it, and it's all free. So definitely, if I can't help, others will. So yeah, hopefully that helps.